Hey everybody, welcome back to another Unstoppable podcast with me and Victoria.
This is a Valentine's Day edition. Happy Hallmark Day.
I don't like Valentine's Day. I don't.
You don't what?
I don't like Valentine's Day.
It's just a commercial markup by Hallmark and chocolate. So people eat a bunch of stuff and go out and spend a bunch of money on greeting cards.
Has nothing even to do with that for me. It's just half the time the word love is used. It's fake.
Why do you say that?
Oh, because it's like a love that I feel like it's like just like the word hate. It's a strong word, and I feel like people just like throw it out like it's nothing.
What is
Like
love
they walk by,
to
oh,
you?
I love you. I feel like love is like a strong word that should really be used when you're like committed to somebody, you love somebody. Even then, that's why there's such thing as divorce. So
What
love,
does love mean to you?
it's like a stronger word to me, like commit, but just like a stronger word, a stronger feeling. Where like instead of saying, oh, I'm committed to you, it's like I love you and like I'll always be by your side. I have this feeling for you that's stronger, that's stronger than like committing. So it's like a stronger feeling of committing to somebody.
And what about family and close friends?
Well, family is family. I mean, it obviously doesn't have to be flesh and blood.
Right.
Family is just somebody that's by your side through thick and thin, who treats you like you're their own or they're your own. Um, uh, so that's family for me. Somebody who, although is not your real biological family, they love you, they care for you, they're thick and thin. They have you back. And then friends, it's the same thing, just like a little less stronger sometimes.
I got it. I got it. So give me a happy day for Logan. What's a happy day for Logan?
Um, a happy day for Logan. Now, I don't want to sound bad here, but if I were to get materialistic here, it would be go out on a whole shopping spree and treat myself. Uh, uh, but if it were like, if it was just like a normal chill happy day for me, it would just be, sit down. Probably it like just blizzard outside. I could sit down in front of a fireplace with I like Starbucks refreshers in the winter.
Ooh, what's your favorite
They
flavor?
I get the passion tango tea lemonade. So I just sit in front of a fireplace with a cozy blanket over me with my phone, and I could do I could do my little window shopping, and I could sit there and sip on my Starbucks refresher and just be happy with myself and not have to deal with the negative shit out in the real world.
Yeah. And what do you and I both normally drink?
I like water. Oh, iced tea,
Mm,
unsweet tea.
mm.
Oh my goodness, I love unsweet tea.
I go through about a half of a pitcher a day, if not three quarters of a pitcher a day.
I love unsweet tea.
Unsweet tea is the best.
Best. I hate sweet tea.
I do too. I can't. This is horrible. If my husband and I both go with Faith somewhere and he orders a sweet tea and I order an unsweet tea, I order extra ice. So I know the difference. If somebody puts the sweet tea in front of this is so horrible. I'm going to get judged. And I take a sip and it's his, I kind of spit it back in the cup. I am not going to consume that nasty sweet tea. So, yeah, but it's my husband's. So it's not like I would do that to anybody else. If it was anybody else's, I'd be like, oh, they gave me the wrong tea. And I would say, I'm sorry, this is sweet. This is sweet. Can we get another one? I wouldn't do that to anybody else. It's just my husband. So I think that's okay, right? I would think it's okay.
Ugh. Hmm.
I'm not, would you have swallowed that whole sip of tea or would you have spit it out? Exactly.
I
You
wouldn't spit it out.
would have swallowed it?
I would have pushed through, man. I'm a fighter no matter what.
I know you are. I don't
If I could deal with
understand.
a whole life-threatening heart condition, I'm pretty sure I could deal with a little sip of sweet tea.
Okay, you have this heart obstacle, as we will call it. And yet I watch you time and time and time again consume the nastiest crap I've ever seen. Like yesterday, you were eating red hot, fiery Cheerio mac and cheese or something like that. And I'm like, what?
Did this girl just say Cheerio?
Wasn't it Cheerio?
Cheerios is a cereal,
Okay,
a honey cereal.
Cheetos,
Cheeto.
Cheetos. It was Cheetos. But you ate this. And then, like, when you're making your soup or something, you use like a half a bottle of hot sauce. I don't understand. How do you do that? How do you, I wish you guys could see what he's doing. He's trying to,
um,
how do
um,
you, how can you handle hot sauce when you have this little obstacle that is
okay,
going on?
so originally, honestly, I'll tell you the little story here. It's quick and easy. So I'd say back in 2019,
When you were
my
21?
brother, what?
When you were 21?
21. Um,
21?
back when I was in 2019, I was 9. Um, I was just sitting relaxing on my couch doing what 9-year-old Logan would do. Um, and my brother walks up to me and he's like, "Yo, Logan, look at this." Now, mind you, my brother was 9, 10, 13. He was my age. And he shows me this guy eating pizza. And he liked it. He liked the pizza so much. He was going, and he put a hole in his wall accidentally because he was banging on his wall with his back. And he showed me what they're called. They're called mukbangs.
What?
So I'm like, I like this. I'm like, I don't know why, but I like this. So I go on and I look up what a mukbang is. And it's just where these people eat food. Mostly Korean and Asian people do it.
Uh-huh.
And I just go on. It's just these people eating food, like noodles, seafood. And I'm just like these foods just look so good with the onion sauces. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, what better way to indulge in seafood and noodles? I can't have seafood. So what better way to indulge in mainly
Why
seafood?
can't you have seafood?
I'm allergic, definitely.
Okay. I didn't,
So
after
what
all
better
this
way to
time, I
indulge?
didn't. Go ahead.
Yes. So what better way to indulge in seafood than sit here, watch a good mukbang, and it's relaxing to me. It's like ASMR. It's just like they don't talk, they just eat. So then I just see these people dumping loads and loads of hot shit in their noodles, and I'm like, how can I do that, but in American style?
Okay. How can you tolerate it?
Repeat that.
How can you tolerate it?
Well, I just started doing it, and what I would do is every time I would just add hot sauce. I'd take a bite, and I'd be like, not spicy enough, until the point where I was like, I want it to be spicy, but I don't want it to be so spicy to the point where it's like kicks me in the ass spicy. I want it to just burn in my throat. I'm like, here and there, I just want to be like, so I just added more and more until eventually I got to almost half a bottle, about half a bottle. I'm like, that's good. And I was like, I just feel like the hot sauce, it's just all I taste is hot sauce. So I took red cayenne pepper because that's the hottest seasoning we had. I dumped some in there and I'm like, I like this. I stuck with it. Back when I was in 5th grade, I started eating it heavily and I would come home every day, I'd put my stuff down and I'd sit there and eat that shit, man. I'd eat it. And eventually it just became a thing. And yeah, every once in a while I take a break from it.
Doesn't it
But
raise your heart rate?
mm-mm, hot sauce has nothing to do with my heart.
Yeah, but it's hard and spicy, and a lot of times gives you heartburn. And mm.
I don't get heartburn unless I only get heartburn if I drink coffee.
No caffeine, I know that.
Um, yeah, even no caffeine coffee, I find I still get a little heartburn. Um, actually, believe it or not, here and there, I just randomly get it. Like I'll just be sitting and I'm like, ooh. And fun fact, guys, for those of you who don't know this, which are probably a lot of you do, but still I'll say it, heartburn doesn't really come from the heart; it's in the esophagus.
Most people don't know that.
Yeah, it's not actual heartburn; it's the esophagus, but the location where in which it is, it feels like it's exactly where your heart is. So they call it heartburn. Um, I get it mainly like right here and actually around my heart area. Um, and it hurts, man. I get bad heartburn. Um, so but I find hot stuff doesn't give me heartburn. The other day I went to Stop and Shop and I got 3 chilies. I ate all of them whole. Thai chilies, which are very hot.
Okay. I want to know, how do you always stay so positive and you're such a warrior? And even though I have to tell you that you have pulled some major little pranks on me. Like I remember it was like a year ago, you sent me a text. I was cooking dinner and I'm in the hospital and I was like, oh my God, what's going on with my little one? I gotta figure out what's going on. Like I am just beside myself. And I'm like, tell me what's going on. Are you okay? And then you go, well, I cut my finger and I'm like, oh my God, I'm thinking that it's like hanging or whatever. And then you send me this picture and I laughed. I was like, okay. And you do this, you do this.
If you would look at the cut now, when I sent you the picture I originally sent you, it just looks like a cut in my finger. No, the doctor told me it was technically a laceration and part of my bone was showing.
Yes, but when you texted me, said I'm in the ER, immediately, because of this obstacle that unfortunately you have, I am petrified. And uh-huh. And so I'm like, oh my God, I gotta find out what's going on. Like, and I'm holding my phone and we have no phones allowed at our table. And, Faith and Michael are like, you have your phone at the table. So I get myself out of the chair and I go stand up next to the island in the kitchen and I'm like, okay, I'm not at the table, but the phone stays. And like, I'm holding it in my hand and I'm like, okay, I gotta hear from him. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? And then you're like, oh, I cut my finger. And I'm like, God bless you.
There you go.
So, how do you stay so positive with such a warrior mentality?
Well, number one, I just want to say that experience also sucks because he said, with the doctors in the hospital at Faith was bad. The girl almost dipped my finger in iodine to clean it. I'm very allergic to iodine.
It makes you like swell up like a puffer fish.
Oh my God. Like, if you dip I'm not even joking, you could dip my thumb in iodine. You could dip my pinky in iodine. So I'll get a big ass hive and it'll go up my arm. Like, I'm very, 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 very allergic to iodine. It looked like the first time I got iodine put on me, my whole leg was swollen. It looked like I got stung by multiple bees at a
So
time.
what do they do when they're cleaning a wound instead of iodine or betadine?
Well, so she walks in though and she puts the tray down and she starts squirting this orange liquid in it. And I'm like, what is that? And she's like, oh, don't worry, honey. It's not going to hurt you. It's just cleaning. And I'm like, no, I know what it is, but is that iodine? And she's like, correct. She's like, go ahead, put your finger in it. I'm like, no. And she's like, why? And I'm like, I thought my mom told you a million times I can't have iodine.
Right.
I'm
You looked at the
allergic.
allergy bands.
Because my mom told them when I first came in, I can't have iodine to clean it. Then the official doctor came in. Okay, we're gonna give him iodine. He can't. He's allergic to it. Then the nurse comes in, squirts it in the tray, dip your finger in it. Hello, I'm allergic. I can't.
Well, now that you're
They just
still
put my finger.
avoiding answering my question,
Yeah. So I always say so positive. What's a point? Even if I were to unfortunately fade away tomorrow,
I don't ever
what
want to
is?
hear those words out of your mouth again. Let's just hit
It's just an
pause.
example.
I don't really care. The snickerdoodle. I don't care. I don't ever,
It's just as
ever,
you as an example.
I don't
So
care.
God forbid that would have happened.
I don't care. I don't ever want to hear those words from you. Ever.
But God forbid that did happen. That it doesn't matter if that happened tomorrow. It's like you have to live your life to the fullest way you can. Because honestly, like I could like, and I'm not putting a juju on anything. I know you won't like this, but I could walk out of the door tomorrow and get hit by a car. I don't necessarily gotta die by my heart. I could die due to something else at any moment. So you know, no matter what, even if I did have a heart condition or not, you have to live life to the fullest because anything can happen at any second, at any moment. What?
Not happy. Go ahead. I don't even want to think about that with you.
Well, so that's really your only option. You could say, I mean, hey, I guess technically it is an option. You could sit there and weep and cry and moan and groan and sit there and just weep and be like, well, I got this and I got that. I can't do anything. Well, that's not an option personally for me. And you got to live your life to the fullest way you can. So I don't sit there and mope and grope. I sit there and do what I can. And I got to see that light at the end of the tunnel that's there, but that other people don't see.
Right. Do you
So
get frustrated? Like I was pre-oping for surgery once, and there was this lady sitting beside me, and she was filling out paperwork, and she was going, "Oh my God, nobody understands. I had never known anyone to have as many surgeries as I've ever had before. This is ridiculous." And da, 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 like on and on and on. And I look over and I was like, "Hi," and I said, "I wish you the best of luck on surgery." And she's like, "Oh, I've had so many, nobody understands, and people just don't appreciate that, surgery is such a stressful thing, and this is such a big deal." And I was like, "Oh, I wish you the best of luck." And I said, I advocate for people who are doing things like this. And if there's anything I can do while we're, waiting to go back to pre-op, I'm happy to just listen." And she was like, "This is my fifth surgery in my life. How many people do you know who's had five surgeries in their life? Oh my God." And I was like, "Oh, and then she goes, "Yeah, I'm having tubes put in my ears." And I just looked at her. And Faith is sitting beside me, and I thought, "Oh, she's going to get unleashed. It's coming." And I looked and I was like, "Well, I've known a couple people that have had more than five, but it's all about your personal experience." And she was like, "Oh, but it can't be worse than tubes in your ears." And I was like, "Well, it just depends who you ask." And she goes, "Really? Well, what are you having done?" And I was like, "Oh, I guess I can't compare. I'm getting my arm amputated." And she just looks at me. And don't you just for a moment want to be like, "Are you kidding me, lady? Seriously?" And then
well, not that it really, yeah, not that it really compares to Faith because she's had way more than I've ever had.
she just
But I
hit
have,
49. I stopped counting over 100. I just stopped. I was like, there's no point in continuing to count mine.
yeah, I mean, as mine doesn't even compare, but even mine's over than hers. I I lost count, and I've really not had as many as Faith. I think I've had eight. I think I've had eight, and I have more. I've planned more, but I've never really been able to get them. Because every time I try to get them, I get sick. I need a nose surgery.
What
I've
do you
needed
need a
that.
nose surgery for? You have the cutest little button nose.
No, see this nostril. Well, nobody else can see it but you. But see this nostril right here.
Okay.
See how it has like that little round opening? It goes like this, and this one's just like a little pear shape.
Sure. No.
This nostril right here, the inside of it is like closed. I can't breathe out of this nostril. Oh, like if you put your hand under my nose, you won't feel any air come out of here and only air come out of here. That's because this nostril's closed. And if
Okay.
you actually go up, the doctor's actually not picked my nose, but he's had to obviously put on a glove and put his finger up my nose to feel. And he's like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
you could literally feel it." Listen, I'm not going to sit here and bullshit anybody. In my life, I've picked my nose before.
Everybody in this world has picked their nose or picked their
Yeah, and
foots.
you could feel like immediately. I'd say like you stick your finger on my nose, and probably like once you get to about here, you feel it. My nostrils closed.
So what are they gonna do?
And he's like, "Yeah." So they want to practically literally do like a little less serious, but like a rhinoplasty on me.
Right.
They have to bust my nose, shift
Yeah.
my bones so it opens up the nostril. Then they
Right.
have to stick a splint in there so it stays. Then I gotta go to a 4 week post op. I'd have to get the splint removed. I gotta get a new one put in, and then I gotta go like another like 2 weeks after they take it out. My nose is gonna be my. They said my eyes are probably gonna go puffy and look like I just got like punched in the face. Like they said, I'm honestly a little bit like probably like a day or two after the surgery, I'm not gonna be able to see out my eyes because my eyes are gonna be like so puffy and swollen. They're practically just gonna be like glued shut. So I was looking forward to that, but then I got COVID twice before I was supposed to get it.
I remember that. And then
And
what else?
what else? Um, foot surgery.
I knew about that too.
That would be like a 2 or 3 month surgery. Um, the process of that is go get a cage thing you put on my foot with his rods coming out of my foot. I have to. My mom gets a key. I just every once in a while twist the key. We have to go into an appointment every once in a while, and they twist the key to straighten my foot. The doctor said, "I'm not gonna bullshit you, Logan, but it's gonna hurt really badly. It's gonna feel funny, and it's just really, really, really gonna hurt." And and so and then I gotta go back and get it taken out. And I gotta go for surgeries and stuff. 1 second, my nose is bleeding. Um, that's another thing with my conditions and stuff and my palate and my closed nostril and stuff and the way my blood pumps through my body. I get nosebleeds a lot. So
Can they cauterize it to help make it stop?
No, they gotta do the nose surgery. Um, and then I gotta go back every once in a while after. Um, then I had to. There was originally before that another foot surgery they wanted to do on me. Um, Believe it or not, I have one less bone in my body. I have one or two less bones in my body.
From what?
My first foot surgery from when actually my second from when I was 4. There was a bone in my foot that they said was like this ball, and it made you should see my foot when I was like 4ish. It was so lopsided, and I they were like, yeah, we either shave this bone down, which could affect them in the near run, or just completely take it out. And my mom was like, just take it out. And they're like, yeah, that's honestly best. So we're just gonna take it out. And I remember waking up, and he's like, you want to see your bone? And a 4-year-old me was like, heck yeah.
Yeah.
And he showed me my bone, and he cleaned it for me. He's like, I cleaned it. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool. Can I take it home with me? And he's like, I wish. He's like, I put it in a little jar for you, and I put little cotton balls in it. And I put a little jar in there, and I'd put your name on it and what it was. And he told me the name of the bone, and I don't remember. So I have one less bone in my body. Fun fact about me. Bum, ba, dum, bum.
How do you always have
Um,
such a smile on your face?
yeah, so I have one less bone in my body, and that was what they wanted to do. The surgery before the whole big surgery that they want to do, they wanted to take another bone out of my body that they were like, the doctor was like, so like, huh? Bones don't regenerate, they don't grow back. But my bone in my foot, they said they accidentally left a little piece of bone, and the bone was growing bigger and bigger. And they're like, a bone has no muscle tissue. It has muscle tissue around it, but it has nothing in it to grow and regenerate. So they're like, huh? You're like, well, no, like they're like, Logan, you an alien from like planet blah blah, like planet Mars or something? And so they wanted to remove that and like really officially remove it, like really scrape it and stuff, and like really get it out. And then they're like, yeah, no. They're like, we're just gonna do a whole thing on him where we're gonna leave the bone in his body. And because they said if they would have removed it, I would have had like a nice little squishy piece of tissue over there. So it would have felt like I was like a blobfish, just nothing there.
So
So they're
how
like,
do
no,
you
we're just gonna.
have, give me your perspective of life, because you're always so happy and upbeat and positive, and your outlook on life is amazing. And then you have people who just want to be miserable and depressed to others and rude and disrespectful to others. And no matter what you do to try and help them, they're going to get what they can out of you, and then they move on and want nothing to do with you.
So you want to know what I say? You want to know my outlook on life? And a lot of
You.
people don't like this when I say it. Like a lot of people get really mad at me. My true outlook on life is life's a test.
Why would they
It's
get
a
mad
test.
at that?
What?
Why would somebody get mad at that?
Because the finishing part. Life's a test. And obviously, people have different religions and stuff. But I say life is a test, and it determines where you're going after, which in my beliefs, I believe that there's heaven and hell. And so, you know, life's a test to depict where you go forever and ever. And do you get to live in glory and light, or do you get to go where the flames burn and you burn and rot in hell for the rest of eternity? And so you got to live life based on where you want to go. And it's your choice. Like nobody's controlling you. Nobody. Like, yeah, here and there. In my personal perspective, this is another thing I say. God can only give you recommendations. He can never tell you, he can never force you to do something. He tells you, hey, you do this, you do this. You don't, then there are consequences. And it's either you do it and you do it the right way, or, even the littlest things, although you might not realize it, the littlest things can knock you off path, and that's that. So, that's what I say. And a lot of people, get mad at me because they have different religions. And, when I say to certain people, obviously I don't know their religion, my one friend, I have a Muslim friend, and she's not a friend because I don't really have any real friends. I just have like in school chatterbox friends.
Hey,
And no, other than you, I don't mean you. I always say that other than you. And
you
Faith.
didn't say that this time.
Oh, sorry, other than you and Faith.
Faith is your sister, and if you didn't call her
Faith's not
that,
my sister. So other than you.
Man. All right, go
I
ahead.
can't include you because you always are my friend. So I mean, like here with me in my state, I have really no friends. But she's like a little chatterbox friend I've known since second grade, and I said it to her, and because she asked me, she's like, Logan, what all your stuff? What's your outlook on life? And I tell her, and she's like, well, I'd appreciate if you don't say that to me anymore because I'm Muslim and I don't believe in that type of stuff.
Then don't ask the question. Don't ask the question if you don't want the answer.
So that's my honest opinion. Life's a test, heaven, hell, recommendation, this and that, blah, blah, blah.
But you have such a positive mentality about everything. You never just say, "Oh, I'm done. I don't care anymore. I don't want to do this."
Well, I mean, you know,
I mean, even after like when I got my amputation, you were just like, "All right, listen up." And I'm saying this respectfully. You don't need an arm to be beautiful. And that just like tattooed itself in my brain that you said this to me. And it was the sweetest thing ever. And you are just the sweetest thing. And you were such a blessing. Do you even remember how we found each other?
I do.
Enlighten me. How did
So
we find each other?
my mom found you on Facebook and reached out, and you got me on a podcast, and we did the podcast. And the day I got on, the second we stopped, it was just immediate. Like you said, you loved me and you wanted me on, and you spoke to my mom, and she agreed, and I was just like, yes. I was just like, yeah.
Sort of
I was
how it
like,
went.
yeah. I was like, what else do I got to do? Nothing. And this is just so fun to me. It's not like something that I'll just do to spare time. It's like something that I can do to spare time, but also that I'll actually enjoy. So I was like, I'm gonna definitely do this. And it made me so excited and just like I got something to do. So I'm gonna do this. And yeah.
Okay, that's not exactly how.
And so I was just like, yes. I was like, that is something I'd like to do. And, the way you were talking to me and stuff, I was like, I don't like to make assumptions and stuff, but I was like, I think she seems like she actually likes me and stuff. So I was like, she seems really interested in me. And secretly in my head, I was like, what if she asks me to be a prominent member? And I'm like, I don't think she'll do that though on the first try. She just met me. And the second I found out, I'm like, wow, she really likes me that much that the first time she meets me, she's asking me to commit to this and do it. And, it's not something small. There's millions of people watching and listening. And I'm like, of course. And, every time I tell somebody that I do this, they think I do it for the followers and they think I do it for money. And I'm like, well, number one, I'm not paid and I don't need to be paid. And number two, you even asked me. Remember when you asked me, you were like, do I have to pay you for this? And I'm
I don't
like,
get paid for this.
well, yeah, and you're the boss. So
I'm the
like,
boss.
I'm like, wait. I was also like in my head, was all thinking, is she joking with me or she's being for real?
I remember your mom reached out to me and was expressing how you were also a Make-A-Wish kid. And
I am, and that was an honor.
and Faith is a Make-A-Wish kid. And that you always wanted to, one of your things was that you always wanted to do a podcast. And so I was like, I'd love to have him on as a guest. And next thing I know, I was like, if I ever could have had a younger sibling for Faith, and I told Faith this, I said, if I could have had a younger sibling for Faith, it would have been Logan. Because
I always look back and I'm like, but like, why did she pick me the first time? And the
and
reason I say that is because like I get on and I'm just stuttering and I'm like I'm not good enough for this. I'm like, I'm sitting here stuttering my ass off and like I don't know what to say. And
it was your
then after these
genuineness that was so amazing because you're like, okay, can we take a break and try one more time? And you're like, okay, let me try to see how I'm gonna say it before we record. And you were just the cutest, sweetest thing. And I kept telling Faith, I was like, if you were to have a younger brother, it would be Logan. Like he is so right on and he's genuine and sweet. And you were just, I mean, I really want to know what you thought about Faith and I when you first met us, because I'd had a lot of people ask if they could come on and host permanently. And I was like, nope, nope, I'll know when I find that person. I know I will. I know I will. And it didn't, you were like, oh, this is my dream come true. I've always wanted to do a podcast. And you had on the very first one you had within minutes, I sent you pictures. I think you had like 60 or 80,000 views of just
yeah.
you saying, "Hi, my name is," and I'm going to be co-hosting this upcoming episode or something
It's
like
on my Instagram story and it's titled "I'm Honored."
and it was just amazing. And I said, this is a kid who has heart in every way. He's just full of heart in every way possible. And
So
you were such an honor to have as a guest. And I was like, I want to know if this would be our permanent. Oh, you have to tell everybody about that. I can't wait to get my hands on it so I can go get it.
this I gotta get out.
Yes. Tell everybody what you just showed me so people will
Well,
know.
let me answer your question first.
Okay.
First, I want to start off with something that I feel like I'm very greedy for. Is growing up, I never really got much attention other than from my mom and here because my mom was always so busy working. Like back in like 2013, 14, 15, 16, and 17, my mom was so busy working. She worked her only day off was at one point Sunday. And she was just so busy. And even on Sunday, she had to cater to my siblings and food and dinner and this and that. So I'm like, I got no really attention growing up as much as I truly, I guess, wanted as a kid or needed. Because when my dad was around, he just slept like a bum ass he was. And so I always have this little greedy thing that when you say that, the very first time you asked me if you wanted if I wanted to put out something to ask somebody to maybe like help us co-host this with me, Faith, and somebody else. And I was like, deeply in my head, my thoughts were just running through. It was like, no. And I don't want to sound greedy that I said it because I'm like, finally I get the attention that not like, I don't want to sound like I'm greedy and craving attention, but I finally got the attention that I always wanted as a kid. So I'm like, finally I got this attention that I've always wanted. And I don't want to, I guess, even if there was another kid in the mix, it's just like I got all this attention. I'm like, I love it. And, it just always felt like I just always loved it. It was just me and Faith. And it's just like twos and then an adult. And it was just always so cool. And I just always, just how I know it. I always want it to be me, Faith, and you. And that's just always how I want it to be. And, every time, and I never thought I'd ever tell you this because I was just always too nervous. But I was always like, I never want anybody to, not in a rude way, but I never want anybody to do this with us. I want it to be us original three, and that's it. And I just always get worried that you'll always add another person.
So what was
So
your first
that's
thoughts
always that's
of Faith and I?
my thoughts, original thoughts of you. Um, I thought I thought Faith was very special. I saw it in her, and I was like, she's a special kid. I was like, come on, look at this kid. I was like, she's obviously something. I was like, I even said it to my mom. I said, she looks like she could be feisty, but she just looks so sweet and just like so pure. That was the first thing I said about Faith. Pure. Okay. My first words when I got off the podcast with you and we like stopped talking and like my mom hung up and we were all done. I said, if I could describe them both in one word, I said, the girl, I said, I forgot the girl's name. And my mom was like, Faith. And I was like, pure. I said, she looks like she could be a wolf with fangs, but I was like, she seems very pure. And I said, Victoria, I was like, she seems nuts out of her head. And I mean that. I said, I described you in two things: nuts out of her head for wanting me. But I said, and generally, I could describe her as somebody that seems very trusting, kind, loyal, very. I don't know. Just I said you could be like another mommy figure in my life, and I even said that to my actual mom. And she's like, okay, I'm glad you like her, and I'm glad you like, her daughter. And when you asked, I just kept asking. My mom was like, has she reached out to you yet? I want to do another one. I'm like, although I was stumbling off I kept saying, my phrase was stumbling off my ass. I was like, although I was stumbling off my ass, I really would like to do another one. I really want to do another one. When are we going to do another one? Blah, 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 blah. And, when we finally got to do another one, I was nervous, but I was just so excited too. I was just like, so excited.
Why am I nuts out of my head?
Because you wanted me. I'm like, I'm sitting there stumbling off my ass. And,
You were not.
I'm
You were
sitting.
so great and so genuine and just so authentic. Really. It was amazing. I was honored to have you come on. And then I was like, Faith, I gotta ask him if he would be. And I asked her, I said, how would you feel if he co-hosted? And she was so excited. And she's like, you think you will? You
Yeah,
think
and
you will? You think you will?
uh, you know, I never wanted to do a podcast that would let me speak freely
Well, you know you
of
have
what I
it
wanted
here.
of what I wanted to truly say. I was like, I want to do a podcast that inspires others, that shows others that they could be heard and they're worth it. And, they're amazing and they have differences and that's what makes them them. It's like you're even if you don't have a difference, you have every right to talk for yourself and advocate for yourself and you're loved and there's always hope at the end of the bridge. But it was like, I want to speak freely. And I don't mean this in a bad way, but here and there I do like throwing up a couple curse words because it makes me feel like I'm truly explaining on how I want to explain it.
Hmm.
Like I feel like if there's a word that I can't think of, like here and there I'll say like this this is just an example. Oh, this stupid ass jar won't open. If I feel like the jar really won't open and it's like really bugging me out and I can't think of a word like, oh, this annoying jar and I feel like I need a stronger word, I'll say this stupid ass jar won't open. So it's
Right.
like I wanted something that I could truly express myself and say what I really needed to say and get off my chest all childhood. And I could finally say it and vent. And, even when we just talk in generally, I always wanted to just do something where it wasn't just a podcast, like where we also get on and just and generally talk, like we get on and talk all the time if we can
Yes.
without doing a podcast and recording unfiltered, just me and you. And sometimes even Faith, which I like very much, but sometimes just me and an adult talking, it makes me happy.
Well, you and
So
Faith play games and text and stuff all the time.
yeah,
And she loves it.
so I'm happy. I'm
Yeah.
very happy in the spot I am, and this will always upbeat me and make me happy.
So tell everybody the picture you just showed me because they didn't see it. So tell them what this is
Okay,
and how
so
and the story behind it because I love it. It's a perfect ending to our podcast for Valentine's Day.
um so since I'm just a sexy artiste, um I drew a picture of a nightlight. But the nightlight itself not only has an infinity symbol because me and Faith will ever be cemented. Not me and Faith. Well, yeah, me and Faith, but me, Victoria, and Faith will forever be cemented together, representing infinity forever. It's a nightlight because I always call her my nightlight. That's, when it's all dark, I just plug that nightlight in and boom, I got it. There's that light. Although it's a little bit of light, it seems like a lot because, you're you and your Faith and Faith's Faith. On, um, I got my lamp and my nightlight. Um, and the in the nightlight it has me and Faith's. Well, not I keep saying Faith. You. It has your prosthetic hand and my actual hand with my bracelet, holding a heart that has a podcasting microphone in it. Representing us like us our love for each other, and I guess you could say our profession together, which is podcasting. And I have a love for podcasting, so of course I put it inside the heart because I have a love for podcasting.
So you need to take a screenshot of that so at least I can add it to the notes for this podcast and everybody can see it. But
Yeah,
it is
and I
going
made
to
Faith
be
hard when she was not feeling good.
yes, but
I'll
that
read it.
the picture he was just talking about is a tattoo. What did you think when I asked you if I could get it tattooed on me?
I told you, I thought you were nuts.
Oh, that again.
So, well, with Faith's card, I got like these little cutout flamingos and pink flowers, and I glued them on. And then I looked it up because usually when there's like a really like a name that represents something, like Faith represents literal faith. So I looked it up. What flower represents faith? And it's the blue iris flower, which the blue iris flower doesn't even really look like a flower; it just looks like a pretty blue petal.
Hmm.
So it represents faith. So I drew a blue iris, and I said it represents the word faith. And inside of it, I wrote, I'll read it. Dear Faith, you are such an inspiration to me. And in the time I know you, have brought me nothing but happiness and smiles. So the least I could do is write this card. So I love you and keep being a warrior. Then I said, P.S. Sorry for messing up. I had no more paper because I messed up. I accidentally I spelled could wrong. So I scribbled it out and I had no more paper. So I just scribbled it out and rewrote it. And then right here, I put pencil, I wrote my fingerprint on it. And I put my fingerprint on a piece of tape and taped it in the card. And I wrote a piece of me with a heart. And then it says, Love Logan, aka Little Bro. And then on the other side of the card, I split it in half and I drew a picture. And on the other side, she could draw a picture. And then on the back, she's supposed to combine the drawings into one.
I love that. I love that. I love that. So now you
So
have to take a screenshot of the drawing that I'm going to get tattooed so I can add it to the notes here.
I'm sending it to you in this frame.
I know, but I can't add that to the notes for when I put out this podcast so everybody can see your drawing. You have to take your phone and take a screenshot of it and then text it to me so I can add it to the notes so everybody can see it. So, any sweet Valentine message you want to put out there?
Enjoy Valentine's Day and don't use the word love so freely. Use it because you actually mean it. And just remember, that's what divorce is for. Sometimes you say it and you think you mean it and you really don't. But I just wanted to say it like you truly mean it. Know you mean it. Don't mess around with that. That word's strong.
I've had a couple of girls ask me if you were single or what your dating status was.
Okay, guys. So thank you guys for tuning in to another Unstoppable podcast. And we are out.
Hold on now. We have fans that have asked a question. I need to be able to provide an answer. So you need to answer them and then you can say we're out.
We're out.
Oh, wow. You're going to disappoint the fans.
Fine. Oh my gosh. No, I'm single, but I I have peaking interest in school. Thank you.
What?
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 What? I have interest in school.
Is it the same one I know of?
What?
Is it the same one I know about?
I forgot if I ever told you about her. There's two girls I like. Three.
Hey, busy beaver.
And usually when I say that, if you want to know what people call me, they call me a hoe.
I would never call you a hoe. You're
And I'm
not
like, well, number one, actually the term hoe means when you sleep around with a bunch of people. Doesn't necessarily mean you like multiple people.
you're not a hoe. Even though you eat Cheerios. Cheetos.
I'm a hoe for my soup.
Oh, come on. All right. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day. Peace out, you weird freakos asking me if I'm single.
It's a compliment.
I'm hot. I know. Touch this bottom. It's burning hot like an oven. You'll burn yourself.
Bye.
Bye.